Hello and welcome back. In the last section, we looked at the add to cart functionality and managed to add dishes to our cart, which is stored on our local storage in the browser. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do here is every time a cart gets added, we want to provide a notification to the user that a cart has been updated or a item or dish has been added to the cart. Okay, so how do we go about that? What we're going to do here is we're going to actually bring in a new component, and that's going to be called notification. And I'm going to go ahead and create that in here in the UI folder. So let's head over to our source, and inside of components, I'm going to head over to the UI folder right here. And inside here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, and that's going to be called notification. Alright, and in here I'm going to go ahead and create a new component by the same name, notification.js. Super. I'm going to go ahead and copy some of the code here and then explain in terms of what's actually happening there. Here it is. Okay, so essentially this is a kind of notification that you generally see that come up right on apps. There are also NPM packages that actually allow something like this. For example, if I search here on Google, let's say npm react notifications, first one, and let's click on the first link here, and that should show some examples. Yeah, right, these are the things that you generally find here. So, but I'm not going to go ahead and use this. I have my own component which takes care of that, and I'll be using that throughout the course of this application build up. Okay, I just cut and paste the code here. We'll quickly go over. Essentially, it gets a property called show, and it uses that to do a few things in here. Notification text. Yeah, if it's show, then it probably gives this notification backdrop kind of stuff, and also sets the opacity and transform to appropriate values based on the show. Okay, and then it has this notification content. This is the main notification area. It has a notification content and of course a close button and whatnot, right? And it also has a check circle to say that things went perfectly fine here. Okay, let's see how we can take this and integrate with our project. All right, and especially with the catalog component that we're working with right now. And while we're here, looks like this particular thing also needs a CSS file, and I'm going to go ahead and get that one as well. Let me head over to the notification folder, and I will go ahead and create a notification.css. all right, and I'm going to essentially go ahead and copy that as well. And I have a few things here in terms of notification paragraph and the backdrop. And I also have used the media screen here, apparently, for the purposes of the responsive rendering. So this is the only place I've used it, apparently. And other places have mostly fallen back on the Bootstrap's capabilities for responsive navigation and rendering. Super. So let's go ahead and save this. And inside of catalog, I'm going to go ahead and import this now. Import notification from, and yeah, that's the one. Super. And it's going to say it's not essentially used and but defined. So that's the warning that we need to essentially be very wary about, because Netlify or any other providers will be essentially treating that as error as opposed to warning. Okay. Super. And the way we can use the notification is we need to understand when it needs to be shown. We need it to be shown every time something happens and the user needs to know about it. So for that, what I'm going to do here is let me collapse the sidebar, and I'm going to define another state here, and that's going to be called show, and I will have a set show here as well to set the value, and I'm going to have the initial value of false. And what I'm going to do here as well right now is I'm going to have a method called show notification. So let me go right below here. I'm going to define a new method here that says const show notification, and this is going to be an arrow function, alright, and doesn't take anything as input. And what this is going to do here is it's going to return us a notification. And let's see what we can do here. If you recall, the notification object component takes in 3 parameters. One is the show, the close, which is essentially the close handler, which dictates when the notification itself has to be closed, right? And the text that needs to be part of the notification itself. So let's head over back to the catalog, and in here I will use the concise syntax. I'm not going to use the return statement here. So inside of a React fragment, I'm going to return a notification component, and that's going to be conditional based on whether show is set to true or not. If show is set to true, then I want to show the notification, which is now the notification object itself. Let me close this. And this one takes in a few props, one being show and the other one being the text. And if you look at it, inside of notification.js component, I have a few things which are essentially defined for certain operations. For example, for add to cart, I have something like this, right? I'm going to go ahead and use this add to cart string as text. So whenever the show notification text happens, it switches based on the text and renders the appropriate notification text. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say the text here is going to be inside of quotes add to cart. Okay, finally we need a prop for close as well, to close the notification when the user essentially wants to navigate to somewhere else. And I'm going to go ahead right about here and define a new function, and I'm going to call it close handler. Super. And this is going to be an arrow function, and all it's going to do here is just say set show to false, so which means the notification disappears because we're showing the notification only when show is true. Super. And let me go ahead and make this close handler. Alright, let me save it. It's saying notification does not export. Okay, so it is probably a named export. If I'm correct, yeah, it is a named export, so I have to essentially enclose it in flower braces. Let me go ahead and do that. Yep, there we go. So right now we have a show notification method, but we don't know when to use that, right? So how do we go ahead and essentially use that, correct? Inside of the render catalog function, right here, right under layout, I'm going to call this show notification function. Let's save this. I hope we have no errors or warnings in here. It's all a clean compile. Yeah, it is. And let's head over to the app. And after clicking add to cart here, I should actually get a notification. Alright. And I hope we do get that. You know what? Maybe what we're going to do here is we'll start with a clean slate, because we already have some items inside of the cart. We will get rid of them to begin with. And so we can start with a clean slate. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this. Super. So we have nothing here right now. And fingers crossed, guys. So let me go ahead and refresh this. Go over the catalog. And let's see, add to cart. Nothing happened. Interestingly. Why is that so? But we also got the application storage, the local storage populated with the cart. Interestingly, okay. Probably I'm not setting the show to true somewhere. Let's see. Go over back to API Indie Cafe. It's not the API Indie Cafe, it's the free Indie Cafe. Okay, so every time we add the cart, add to the cart, right here, after this is done, we have to essentially set the show to true, right? So the way we can do it here is that we can actually do it multiple ways. Let's go ahead. We can use it doing the callback, or just plain call set show to true. Okay, so let's see if we actually get this to work right now. Fingers crossed. I will go over to the application, clear the cart, and delete. Okay, super. And let's see, add to cart now. Super, that's what we wanted. Okay, and this is how it shows up now. And if I click anywhere else on the screen, it gets disappeared and allows us to move, navigate elsewhere. Let's go ahead and add this. Yeah, it's added here as well. Super. And yeah, this is working fine. The last thing that we want to check here is look at the application local storage, and it should have two digits right now. Yes, we do. Super. Excellent, guys. This is great progress. And let's take a pause here. I think we can take a pause and then come back and then look at the next steps. Okay? Super.